மனம் என்பது நானும் அல்ல, உயிர் என்பது நானும் அல்ல, உள் உணர்வும் நானும் அல்ல, ஐம்புலன்களும் நானும் அல்ல. சிவமே என் உணர்வு, உணர்வே என் சிவந்தான். ஓம் நம சிவாய, சிவ ஓம் நம சிவாய. Aham Brahmasmi. I welcome each one of you with a deep respect and connection from my inner soul. Today's our topic will be practicing and learning. Our Indian yogas, brothers and sisters, yogis, we know lot of information about spiritual practice, or we know lot of information about yoga sadhana, but we practice very less spiritual practice and very less yoga sadhana. Learning and practicing is two different kinds of things. When you learn things, you use logical dimension of your mind. When you practice any spiritual sadhana, you use inner energy and the inner intellectual. If the logical intellectual, if it's not work, which means you are connected deeply into your inner self. So whenever you start to learn things, you use the analytical mind. You observe, you calculate, you try to compare right and left, north and south. But when you practice, you literally, your mind is in a state of sattvic, stable, extremely balanced. In this time, it's supposed to, your sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system supposed to be balanced when you practice yoga sadhana. Also any spiritual practice. My yoga guru, also my father, Swami Yogiraj and Ramakrishna, he used to say every Indian peoples are a yogi, and that's very true. I find that many of our Indian brothers and sisters know a lot of information about spiritual practice. So here in China, I teach yoga for almost like 15 years. So almost 15 years I teach in China. So it's not good to compare Indian yoga followers and Chinese yoga followers, but because I teach here such long time, I can able to feel the kinds of devotion that carries and the kinds of respect that they give to follow yoga. Because why I should say this information, because Chinese have different kinds of modern lifestyle than our Indian brothers and sisters. Even Chinese with high devotion and respect, they follow and practice yoga very intensely as per the systematic rules of yoga sadhana. So mostly in China I teach many kinds of yoga workshop and yoga classes here, but mostly I teach Hatha yoga and Vasi yoga in a very systematic way. So before we practice Vasi yoga, is supposed to take Rudra Diksha for certain purpose. So Vasi yoga is a kind of yoga which can create the inner heat in the energy channel. If your energy channel have certain inner balanced heat, your Kundalini is automatically rise up in a very systematic way without any danger to this physical body. So that's why we even practice Hatha Yoga in a very systematic way too. So I hope in the coming days we can have more discussion or even some workshop free classes in Vasi Yoga and in Hatha Yoga. So as per my knowledge, many of our Indian followers, Indian yoga followers, they take certain knowledge from left, they take certain knowledge from right, and they mix together and they practice themselves in a very wrong way. So if you practice Vasi Yoga in a very systematic and proper way, you will feel your body, your physical body, Annamaya Kosha, become extremely stronger. Your body became at the same time flexible, stronger and balanced. In a way, your mind will be in a very sattvic condition. If a mind is in the sattvic condition, your inner emotion will be extremely balanced to the outer circumstance. So, in my personal practice, by practicing Vasi Yoga, I've been in China for many years in different part of the China. So some part of the China is even they have like minus 20 degree. It's near Tibet. Even it goes to minus 25, minus 30 degree. So even that extreme condition, I can be half naked and then walk all over by creating the inner heat, Ushna. So Vasi Yoga is a really tremendous and very magical things, but it takes enormous steadiness and proper wisdom and constant practice. So as I teach Vasi Yoga here for so long, people really very intensely following this Vasi Yoga. Many of the Chinese followers has been transformed themselves into vegetarian. We all must know that Chinese without meat, even one day they cannot live. So many people, they know that I don't eat meat since from my childhood. So many Chinese, they don't believe this because people without meat, it's impossible can live according to this, according to their logical mind. But for our Indian peoples, we all know without meat we can still have energy and very stable mind and body. But Chinese is very hard to understand. So that's why in the past time I explained that Chinese follow Indian tradition is really hard. Meat, wine, smoke. This kinds of culture in China is a very normal thing. Wherever you go, even gathering or even wedding party, so without meat and wine, it's impossible they can live. They even won't accept it as a wedding ceremony. So we have transformed nearly more than 10,000 people into vegetarian by practicing Vasi Yoga and Hatha Yoga. And I am very sure if our Indian brothers and sisters, if really practice yoga in a systematic way, not learning, practice yoga in a very systematic way, your body, mind and the inner emotion will be enormously very stronger. And this will lead to have a very successful life. So one thing I have to say that in India, if you practice yoga, you become sannyasi, a brahmacharya, and it's extremely wrong. Because I have seen many Tibetan peoples who can practice Vasi Yoga in a very powerful way, and many Tibetan peoples who practice Vasi Yoga is also involving in Grihastha, which means normal lifestyle. They have married and they also have kids, but still they can constantly hold this yoga spiritual life by practicing Vasa Yoga and Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga. So we have very misunderstanding that by practicing a very intense spiritual practice or yoga sadhana, we will go away from family life. We are not Buddha. We follow Shiva. We follow Hindu tradition. So which means many of our God, they are not sannyasis. Many of our gurus is not sannyasis. They all have grihastha life, but still they constantly holding this spiritual sadhana in a very right form and in a very right way. So balancing the spiritual life, balancing the family life together is yoga. It's not mean that if you practice yoga very intensely, you go away from life. No. So this is extremely a kind of wrong misunderstanding with our brothers and sisters. So some of my friends in India, they used to ask me many information about how to practice yoga, how to practice bhakti yoga. So I give them some instruction, but after a certain time they start to afraid. They will go away from normal life. They go away from family life. I say this is extremely, I would say it's not a proper wisdom. So they always imagine if you go into a spiritual life, you will go away from family life. Because in India, there are a lot of sage and lot of sannyasis teach yoga. We believe by practicing yoga, we will go away from normal life. This is wrong. So I hope in coming future, we will see again and will teach my brothers and sisters, my friends of spiritual life. We will meet again, and in the coming days we will make a yoga conference, and there I can teach certain basic Vasa yoga and spiritual lifestyle which everyone can hold very easily in a very systematic and proper, in a very spiritual way. Hari Om Shivaya. Aham Brahma.